Hello friend, now we are gonna discuss about reservation system of India. The age-old caste system of India is responsible for the origination of reservation system in country. In simple term, it is about facilitating access to seats in government jobs, education institutions and even legislature to certain sections of the population. These sections have faced historical injustice due to their caste identity. As a quota based affirmative actions, the reservation can also be seen as positive discrimination. In India, it is governed by government policies backed by Indian Constitution. Some historical backgrounds. William Hunter and Josiah Paul in 1882 originally coincided the idea of caste-based reservation system. The reservation system that exists today in its true sense was introduced in 1933 when British Prime Minister Ramsay MacDonald presented the Communal Award. The award made provision for separate electorates for Muslims, Sikhs, Indian Christians, Anglo-Indians, European and Dalits. After long negotiation, Gandhi and Ambedkar signed the Pune Pact, where it was decided that there would be a single Hindu electorate with certain reservations in it. After independence, initially reservations were provided only for SCs and STs. OBCs were included in the ambit of reservation in 1991 on the recommendation of the Mandel Commission. Why reservation needed? To correct the historical injustice faced by backward castes in the country, to provide a level playing field for backward sections as they cannot compete with those who have had the access of resources and means for centuries, to ensure adequate representation of backward classes in the service under the state for advancement of backward classes, to ensure quality as basis of mediocrity. All people must be brought to the same level before judging them on their merit. Some arguments against reservation. Reservation in state services lead to divisions and enmity among government employees, violating the atmosphere at workplaces. Eradication not perpetuate the notion of caste in society. Reservation was introduced to ensure that the historical underprivileged communities were given equal access to resources, but irrespective of the economic progress, they continue to remain socially disadvantaged. Reservation destroyed self-respect so much so that competition is no longer on the determine the best but most backward. Reservation are the biggest enemy of mediocrity, which is the foundation of many progressive countries. It can become a tool to meet narrow political ends through invoking class loyalties and primordial countries. The dominant and elite class within the backward caste has appropriated the benefits of reservation, and the most marginalized within the backward caste have remained marginalized. Reservation has become the mechanism of exclusion rather than inclusion, as many upper caste poor are also facing discriminations and injustice, which breeds frustration in the society. Reasons behind increasing the demand of reservation. Reservation is increasingly seen as a remedy for the adverse effect of ill-thought development policies. In development states like Haryana, Gujarat and Maharashtra, in spite of their economic being relatively better, three things have been worrying the people: acute agrarian distress, stagnation in employment growth, distortion in development. In this backdrop, from government, it is easier to talk of reservation than to make a course correction. Fear of losing privilege, government jobs. Some suggestions. The reservation benefits should flow to the vast majority of underprivileged children from deprived castes. higher rank official families, high income professionals, and other above a certain income should not get the reservation benefits, especially in government job. Fair and practical ways to help needy person from each community through reservation is possible and necessary. The process of reservation should filter the truly economically deprived individuals and bring them all to justice. Revolutionary changes in the education system at the grassroots level is needed of the hour. There is also need for awareness generation because while the unreserved segments keep on opposing the provision, the neediest section from within the reserved segment are hardly aware about how to get benefited from the provision or even whether there is a such provision exists. Reservation in the Indian context. Reservation in India law is a form of affirmative action whereby a percentage of seats are reserved in the public sector units, union and state civil services, union and state government departments, and in all public and private educational institutions, except in the religious, linguistic, minority educational institutions, for the socially and educationally backward communities and the scheduled caste and tribes who are inadequately representative in these services and institutions. The reservation policy is also extended for the scheduled caste and scheduled tribes for representation in the Parliament of India. The rationale behind the concept. The underlying theory for the provision of reservation by the state is the underrepresentation of the identifiable groups as a legacy of Indian caste system. After India gained independence, the Constitution of India listed some erstwhile groups as scheduled caste and scheduled tribes. The framers of the Constitution believed that due to caste system, SCs and STs were historically oppressed and denied respect and equal opportunities in Indian society and were thus underrepresented in national building activities. The Constitution laid down 15% and 7.5% of vacancies to government-aided educational institutes and for jobs in the government and public sector as reserved quota for the SC and ST candidates respectively for a period of 5 years, after which the situation was to revive the present status. After introducing the provision for reservation once, it got related to vote bank politics, and the following governments and Indian parliaments routinely extended this period without any free and fair revisions. Later reservations were introduced for other sections as well. The Supreme Court ruling that reservation cannot exceed 50%, which it judged would violate equal access guaranteed by the Constitution, has put a cap on reservation. The central government of India reserves 27% of higher education and individual states may legislate further reservation. Reservation in most states is at 50%, but certain Indian states like Rajasthan have proposed a 68% reservation that includes a 40% reservation for forwarded caste in service and education. However, there are states laws that exceed this 50% limit, and these are under litigation in the Supreme Court. For example, the caste-based reservation fraction standard at 69% and is applicable to about 87% of the population in the state of Tamil Nadu. Minorities Development and Finance Corporations. The National Data Bank to compile data on various socio-economic and basic amenities parameters for socio-religious communities has been set up in the Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation, an autonomous assessment and monitoring authority to analyze data collected for taking appropriate and correctively policy decisions has been set up on the Planning Commission. A training model has been developed by Indian Institute of Public Administration for centralization of government officials. The model has been sent to the central state training institutes for implementation. Lal Bahadur Shastri National Academy of Administration has prepared a model for sensitization of organized civil service, and it has been incorporated in their training programs. Under Urban Infrastructure Development Scheme for small and medium towns, additional center assistance. A high-level committee set up to review the Delimitation Act has considered the concern expressed in the Sahar Committee report and submitted its report. Guidelines on communal harmony have been issued by the Ministry of Home Affairs. Dissemination of information regarding health and family welfare schemes is being undertaken in regional language in minority concerned area. State governments and UTs have been advised by Department of Personnel and Training for posting of Muslim police personnel in Thanas and Muslim health personnel and teachers in Muslim concentration area. State government have been advised by Ministry of Panchayat Raj and Ministry of Urban Development to improve representation of minorities in local bodies. The recommendations of the Joint Parliamentary Committee on Waqf have been received. These have been processed as per approved modalities. An expert group constituted to study and recommend the structure and functions of an Equal Opportunity Commission submitted its report. This has been processed along with the report of expert group on diversity index as per the approved modalities to meet the even growing need for ameliorating the condition of minorities and the Muslim community in particular. The annual plan allocation for the Ministry of Minority Affairs has been increased. Some reservation supporters ask reservations are a political necessity in India. Although reservation schemes do underline the quality of education, but still affirmative action has helped many, if not everyone, from underprivileged and or underrepresented communities to grow and occupy top position in the world leading industries. Although reservation schemes do underline the quality, they are needed to provide social justice to the most marginalized and underprivileged, which is their human right. Meritocracy is meaningless without equality. First, all people must be brought to the same level. Where there is, it elevated a section or decelerates another regardless of merit. Reservation have only slowed down the process of forward becoming richer and backward becoming poor. So finally, the issue of reservation has remained a cause of disagreement between the reserved and non-reserved sections of the society. While the unreserved segments keep on opposing the provision, the neediest section from within the reserved segments are hardly aware about how to get benefited from the provision or even whether there are such provisions. On the contrary, the creamy layer among the same segment is enjoying special privileges in the name of reservation, and political factions are supporting them for vote bank. Reservation is no doubt good as far as its method of appropriate positive discrimination for the benefit of the downtrodden and economically background sections the society, but when it turns to harm the society and ensure privileges for some at the cost of other for narrow political ends, as it is in the present form, it should be done away with as soon as possible.